Welcome back to Warehouse and Operations as a Career. Well, WAOC is on the road again this week, hitting up Nevada and Arizona. It's always nice to get out and walk a few operations and meet new team members. I'm Marty, and today I'd like to talk about something every employee wants, but not everyone necessarily understands. And that would be a raise. Whether you're unloading trailers, operating a forklift, selecting orders, dispatching trucks, running production equipment, or managing a team, most of us have asked ourselves the same question at some point. How do I make more money? And maybe an even tougher question, how do I ask for a raise? Now, before we get started, let's true a few things up. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting more money. Life gets expensive. Rent, gas, insurance, and groceries go up. The challenge is that employers don't typically give raises because our bills increase. They give raises because our value increase. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. A lot of us think a raise starts when we walk into our supervisor's office to discuss our performance review and/or our raise. Well, it doesn't. The truth is that a thought of our raise starts months before that meeting. A raise starts with our habits. Every day we're building a reputation. People notice things. Maybe not immediately or every day, but over time they notice. Who shows up on time and stays productive? Who complains and who volunteers? Who learns new tasks? Who can be trusted and depended on? Who needs constant supervision and who solves problems instead of creating them? Our raise often starts with answers to those questions. I've got to say it again. I know I keep bringing it up, but being that employee just pays off. You know, every workplace has one. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That employee, the one everyone wants on their shift. The one the supervisor calls first and the one coworkers trust. The man or woman who can handle difficult assignments and gets opportunities. The one who gets promoted. The one who gets raises. So what makes them different? Usually it's not because they're the smartest person. Usually it's not because they've been there the longest. It's because they're dependable, they're accountable, and consistent. When they say they'll do something, it gets done. When they make a mistake, they own it. When something needs attention, they step up. Those traits are incredibly valuable in our worlds. Reliability is a superpower. Let's talk about attendance. I know, not the most exciting topic, but well worth mentioning again. Imagine you're a supervisor with 20 employees. 5 call in regularly. 3 are late every week. 2 disappear during breaks. Several perform differently every day. Then there's that one person. They're always there, always prepared and ready to work. Who do you think gets the first opportunity? Who is going to get cross-trained and promoted? Which one gets the bigger raise? I think reliability is one of the most underrated skills in the workplace. You don't need special training or need a certification or a degree. You simply show up and do what you said you were going to do. Consistently. And believe me, consistency gets noticed. Here's one of the fastest ways to increase your value. Again, I know I harp on it at least once a month, but learn another task, then another, and another. Cross-training is like adding tools to your toolbox. Maybe you're a forklift operator. Learn receiving and learn shipping. Learn a little about inventory control, quality inspection, cycle counting. Learn the WMS. Learn a little of the paperwork and the computer side, even how transportation functions. Why? Because the more problems you can solve, the more valuable you become. And companies pay for value. The employee who can perform 3 jobs often becomes more valuable than the employee who only can perform 1. Another thing I bring up probably too often is attitude. And before somebody says, here we go with the motivational stuff, hear me out. A positive attitude isn't pretending everything is perfect. A positive attitude means being part of the solution. Every workplace is going to have challenges. Every warehouse and transportation department has bad days. Every production line has setbacks. And our leaders notice who responds constructively. They notice who keeps moving forward and who encourages others. Of course, attitude doesn't replace skill, but attitude often determines who gets the opportunity to develop those skills. And here's a biggie, one word that can separate average employees from future leaders: accountability. Accountability means owning your results. When things go well, great. When things don't go well, own that too. No excuses or finger pointing or blaming everyone else. The employee who says, "That was my mistake, here's what happened, here's how I'll prevent it next time," is far more valuable than the employee who spends 10 minutes explaining why nothing was their fault. Our managers trust accountable people. Trust creates opportunity. Opportunity creates advancement, and advancement creates raises. Okay, now it's time to ask for a raise. Let's say you've been doing everything we've discussed. You've improved, cross-trained, and learned other tasks. You've become reliable. You've added value. Now it's time to discuss our compensation. I think here's where many of us make a mistake. We walk into the office and say, "I need more money." Unfortunately, that's not a strong business case. Instead, let's think like a professional or even an owner. Let's approach it like a leader. Build your case. Show your accomplishments. We need to write them down and create a list. For example, perfect attendance for 12 months, trained on 3 additional positions, helped reduce picking errors, assisted with onboarding new employees, improved productivity by 30 pallets per hour, reduced damage claims and maintained safety compliance, and learned the new equipment, as well as receiving positive feedback from my management team and our customers. Specific examples, data, and facts matter. When you can demonstrate your value, the conversation changes. Don't bring problems, bring solutions. This is one of the biggest career secrets I've learned over 40 years. Anybody can identify problems. Leaders identify solutions. Imagine walking into your manager's office and saying, "I've noticed we're losing time during shift startup. I have 3 ideas that may improve productivity." That's different. Or, "I think we could reduce loading errors if we adjusted the staging process." Or, "I'd like to help train new associates because I think we can improve retention." Now you're thinking beyond your job. You're showing you're thinking about the operation, and that's valuable. Here's another secret, or opinion, I guess. Raises become easier when your goals align with the company's goals. What does your company care about? Safety, quality, productivity, attendance, customer service, retention, cost reduction? If you can demonstrate how your efforts helped support those goals, you're speaking the language leadership understands. You're not saying, "I want more money." You're saying, "I helped move the organization forward." See the big difference there? So how do we ask for a raise? Keep it professional and simple. Something like, "Thank you for taking time to meet with me. I've really enjoyed my role and the opportunities I've had here. Over the past year, I've expanded my skills, improved my performance, and taken on additional responsibilities. I'd like to discuss my future with the company and whether my compensation reflects the value I'm currently providing." Do you notice what's missing? No demands, no ultimatums, no threats, just facts, professional facts. And then what if the answer is no? Well, first, don't get emotional. Get information. Ask, what skills or accomplishments would you like to see from me before we revisit this conversation? Now you've created a roadmap. Maybe they want more leadership or more productivity. Maybe they want additional certifications or they want more time in the role. Whatever the answer, now you know what target you're aiming for, and that's valuable information. Okay, let's wrap up with this thought. Raises aren't earned in a 15-minute meeting. They're earned in hundreds of small decisions over time. Showing up, being on time, learning another task, helping a teammate. There's hundreds of little important things. Oh, here's a big one. We've talked about owning our mistakes and maintaining a positive attitude, taking safety seriously, thinking like a leader, bringing solutions, supporting company goals. Those things build value. And like we learned a couple of weeks ago, value builds trust and trust builds opportunity. And not sounding all motivational on you, but I'll add that opportunity builds careers and careers build income. If you're listening today and wondering how to earn more money in warehousing, transportation, manufacturing, or production, start by asking yourself, am I becoming more valuable than I was 6 months ago? Because the employees who continually increase their value rarely have to chase opportunities. Opportunities start chasing them. Until next time, work smart, keep learning, and above all, work safe out there.